This is Townsquare Sunday on 1420 WBSM, the place where people come together to talk about the good things happening in and around New Bedford.
Come together right now. Oh.
And now, the moderator of Townsquare Sunday, Jim Phillips.
Well, it's the first Sunday of spring. I'm Jim Phillips. You're listening to Townsquare Sunday. We highlight individuals and nonprofits who are working to improve the quality of life for residents here on the South Coast. Welcome. The Immigrants Assistance Center in New Bedford has been doing some great work for 47 years, helping legal permanent residents on the path to citizenship, preparing new citizens to find work, assisting children complete their education, young people, and preparing families in case parents of U.S.-born children are detained or deported.
Exactly.
Leading all of those efforts is the director of the Immigrants Assistance Center, Helena Da Silva Hughes. Welcome, Helena, once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Now, you are going to be having a fundraiser next month, and we're going to talk about that in length in just a few moments. But first, I'd like to talk to you about a couple of other things. In your release announcing the fundraiser, you said there was an unprecedented level of need for the center services. What are the most pressing needs right now in the immigrant community?
Well, for example, I have to say that the numbers of people, legal permanent residents, requesting citizenship has skyrocketed. So it's actually, we've quadrupled our numbers. So every day we're actually filling out applications for citizenship, which is great because we want our legal permanent residents to become citizens. But what I've noticed is, especially with the present administration, people, a lot of them are becoming U.S. citizens in fear of what's going to happen with immigration or what's going to come down the pipeline with this present administration. So that being said is the reason why we have seen a spike in people, in legal residents applying for citizenship. I would say an example is, I would say in previous years we would assist about 150, 170, and in 2017 we assisted 975, and the numbers continue. So that says exactly what is happening with the with citizenship, and at the same time for people who have to who also need the English language in order to pass the citizenship test. So, yeah, our ESOL classes have also, we do ESOL classes in the mornings, in the evenings, and also on Saturdays, because as people are learning how to speak the language and we're preparing them, we introduce them to citizenship and civics in another classroom. So I think it's important that we've moved our students along the whole process, and we assist them with filling out this extremely extensive application. And the fee is $725. So we provide not only the English language, the citizenship preparation, which we also do mock interviews in the class, but at the same time, we help them with all the citizenship support services. And every 6 months, we have citizenship swearing-in ceremonies in our at the centers in the classroom, which becomes a courtroom every 6 months.
Now, I know you're located on Crapo Street. I wonder, 900 people getting these classes, attending these classes. I don't know if I've been there for one of the classes. I know you have some room there to teach these classes, but the fact is, it's not a big place.
It's not a big place, and of course, not everybody that is applying for citizenship needs the class. So a lot of times people have the language criteria and have everything else and do not need classes. So I would say that not everybody, not all those 900 and something people that we helped them with the citizenship support services needed English classes because they already spoke English. They already had spoken English. They speak English fluently, but they needed information or they needed us to assist them with the application process. So not everybody that we help with citizenship support services need the English language because they already speak English.
When are you doing these I'll call them graduations? I know, and I can recall spring, early summer, and then you do something at the end of the year as well?
Yeah, we do that, and I think it's so important that we have. So the center is, in 2014, we became approved, credited by the Board of Immigration Appeals and recognized. So which means we are a trusted center of immigration that understands the services. So in other words, basically, we're not scam artists.
Right.
That's what it is. And so, and we're a nonprofit organization. So the whole idea is at that time, for many years, there was a lot of scams, immigration scams. So it was important for organizations like the Immigrant Assistance Center to be accredited by the Board of Immigration Appeals. And because of our accreditation, we now have been able to do the citizenship ceremonies, which means our classroom becomes a courtroom, and we get a superior court, and immigration comes in, and we're able to have some of our, not all of them, because there's so many, because we can only fit about 26 students, but we're able to have a lot of our students actually go get sworn in as new citizens at the Immigrants Assistance Center.
Of all the people you see, what do you think the percentages is of people who are coming in and their parents are facing being detained or deported? Is there a small amount, a large amount?
I would say that the numbers have been higher now than before. Yeah. I would say that it's very safe to say that about 15 to 20% of our clientele, I would say, are mixed immigration. When I mean mixed immigration, there are people who have no status, who either came in as visitors and overstayed, or they came through the border. But they have children. These children were born in the United States. So because the children were born doesn't mean that the parents are going to become legal. The only time that they will become legal residents is when the children turn 21, these U.S. citizens, children who were born, and then petition for their parents. So that is a pretty, I would say, a good 15 to 20% of the clients that we're saying are mixed immigration.
So how do you help these children? I mean, does it come down to, hey, finding some home for them or extended family or all of that? I mean,
so what is happening that right now that I think it's important is that especially now, anyone who is undocumented is at risk of being picked up by immigration. And so because of that, we think it's extremely important that because they have children that are born in the U.S., that they have a plan in place. And when I mean a plan in place, and we've been doing a lot of emergency family preparedness, what I mean by that is, for example, if you have a couple that have no status and they have a child who's born in the United States, let's say the father gets picked up by immigration, okay? The father who gets picked up by immigration, he should not be calling his wife who's also undocumented, right? Because those calls are being traced. What they need to do is to make sure, first of all, if that person gets picked up as an attorney or has someone whom they trust who has status in the U.S., they should be able to contact them. And at the same time, if it's just one person and the heads of household, they need to have a place in place. For example, if their children are born in the U.S., they should get passports for those children. They should have someone whom they trust. So if someone gets deported or if they get deported, there is a plan in place that their children can be eventually reunited with their parents once the parent gets deported. And that's the family preparedness plan. And at the same time, for the person whom they trust, they need to sign some kind of affidavit that shows that you're a temporary caregiver. So this way, if the child needs to go to the doctors or if the child needs to go to school, that form that is notarized at doctors and the school has a copy of it.
So you help build these plans?
I did not help build these plans. What happened is Mass Law Association, which is actually immigration, there's an immigration coalition, and these legal attorneys are the ones who created this emergency family preparedness. What it did is we've gotten trained to do these plans. I've gotten trained, and because of that, it's important that since New Bedford we have a pretty large undocumented population, I say 10,000 or maybe even higher than that, where we find it is extremely important that these families have a plan. So when they do get deported, that these children who are here can be reunited, because no one wants to leave their children behind.
Well, no one does. It is a very sad situation. That brings us to the next step in this conversation, and that is no one in Washington has tackled immigration
That's
reform.
Right.
And the last time you were here, we're not going to dwell on this. We kind of dwelled on it last time. But from the last time you were here to now, there's nothing has happened with immigration reform.
And it's actually, it seems to me, it's, again, they both play, it's a political
both parties.
football. Absolutely. They're both to blame.
And we've had a lot of discussion about a wall, but we haven't really had any discussion about, hey, how do we fix this problem?
And immigration reform. And
Yeah.
that's what needs to be passed. And it's so sad that this has been going on for about 20 years.
And I don't think anyone is suggesting that the immigrants who are here undocumented now have a free ride and easier. No one is suggesting that.
Nope.
And I think any plan they come up with, those folks should have to either pay something or take some steps to take the path, get on the path to citizenship, and move on with their lives. You know?
Absolutely, and that's what an immigration reform bill would do. And until
Hopefully.
that gets done, we're going to be in this limbo.
Yeah, and here we are playing these kinds of situations that no one really comes out a winner.
Exactly.
There's no winner here.
And then children are actually become victims of these circumstances.
Yeah, clearly.
That's the sad thing about this.
You're listening to Townsquare Sunday. My guest is Helena Da Silva Hughes, the Executive Director of the Immigrants Assistance Center here in New Bedford. You have a fundraiser coming up on April 4th, perhaps the best venue in New Bedford.
Absolutely, has the best view, Harbor View Room at the New Bedford Whaling Museum.
It's fairly new, and it's just a beautiful view. Hopefully you've got a great sunset and you can enjoy all of that.
Exactly.
But still some tickets left for this?
Yeah,
event?
absolutely. They can go on immigrantsassistancecenter.org, click on events, and you can purchase the ticket right on our website.
Now, as part of this fundraiser, there's going to be a new logo unveiled.
Absolutely.
And there's going to be some news
Exact-
about certain programs. I don't know how much you can talk about, but
Sure.
it was described in the release as growth. So what kind of growth are we talking about?
So first of all, we have a very small space on the first floor at 58 Crapo Street. We've been in that space since 1976. And so our space is very tight. And what happens is that we are dealing with a lot of confidentiality. And many times our staff needs to use my space because I'm the only one that has a door. And so for a while now, we know that our third floor in our building, on the elevator that was put in, goes up to the third floor. And we know that on the third floor has a lot of space. So we are hoping that, of course, with the mayor's support, that the third floor will eventually get fixed. And hopefully within a year or 2 years, and we can move to that space on the third floor, which will allow us to expand. And so that is important. One of the things I wanted to mention about also the logo and our website is we have been, because of everything that's going on, we've had a lot of amazing volunteers from the community who've come forward and said, saying, what can I do to help you? And some of these individuals are retired and have had a very successful business, and now they want to give back to the community. So they've embraced the Immigrants Assistance Center, and they've been helping us with messaging and websites. And so at the fundraiser on April 4th, we are going to show the new logo, and we're also going to be highlighting our new website.
All right. Now, you've got some computer growth classes here. Is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
Talk about those.
So we were very lucky to receive a grant, a technology grant from the Richard and Susan Smith Foundation. And we received $23,000, and that money is specifically for us to create a computer lab in our ESOL classes. First of all, we are very much aware that the language barrier, but there's also the technology barrier. And we've been hearing many times, being on the Workforce Investment Board and then New Bedford Economic Council, I know that there are a lot of employers that keep saying that they can't find people for the jobs that they have. Right. So, and language and technology keeps coming up. So one of the reasons why we want to do this is that as our students come through, we teach the English language. We also going to show them, teach them technology in the classroom, basic technology, especially basic computer techniques. And at the same time, one of the things that we know that is important is for people who are applying for citizenship, they're going to, when they go for their test, for the written, because they have to write a phrase, they are going to, USCIS, which is immigration, is going to be adopting tablets. So we're also purchasing tablets to be utilized in our citizenship civic classes. And we're very excited because we are, Mass Hire used to be the career center, is going to have satellite offices. And so what we're doing is we're partnering with Mass Hire, and we're going to be able to have, for everyone, that's just immigrants, anyone, in our, we are going to be having training, job training on site.
Quick answer. Does the center receive any government funding?
No, we do not.
They do not. Okay, very good. How can people get tickets? One more time.
So you can call the Immigrants Assistance Center at 508-996-8113. Again, 508-996-8113. Or you can go on our website on immigrantsassistancecenter.org, click on events, and you can purchase a ticket there or just reserve your space.
Tickets are $50, by the way. My guest has been Helena Da Silva Hughes, Executive Director of the Immigrants Assistance Center. Good luck with the new plans.
Thank you.
And thank you for the work you and your staff do.
Thank you so much.
Don't go away. Townsquare Sunday returns in just a moment.